I hear it? Huh? Did I hear it? Do you know what I found out? That this 1980 formula stuff, it's a very good year for formula. You know that, huh? Yes, you do know that. Well, I think you have also had enough. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to put you over here because Mommy has work to do. See all these boxes? Huh? See all these boxes over here? I've got to unpack them. Do you know what's in them? All the stuff your Mommy and Daddy collected. Boy, did we collect a lot of stuff, didn't we? Huh? I never thought we could collect all that stuff. I'll tell you the best thing we collected, though. Hey there, Dumpling. It was you. There you go. There you go. You don't want to sit in here anymore, do you? Well, I tell you what I gotta do now. I gotta find something for your Uncle Logan. Yes, I do. Something that... very important to him. A letter. A letter that's very precious to him, too.
Dr. Galt, I know that you and Emily have been so close all these years, and the thought of losing her must hurt you terribly, but it's something all fathers face, and most of them survive.
What I'm going to lose doesn't concern me, Molly. It's what Emily stands to lose.
I'm sure that Kirk will do everything he can to take good care of her.
Molly, if Emily and Kirk move to Monticello, it's just a matter of time before her world falls apart.
Oh, now you're being very pessimistic. Why?
Molly, I'm going to tell you something. But you must promise me not to say a word of this to Emily or to anyone.
Of course.
That young man upstairs, he's not Kirk Michaels.
But...
No, Molly. He's someone else. And I know who.
But you can't mean this. You and Emily were so sure.
I was only sure of one thing, Molly. That the real Kirk Michaels would never come back to this house. Because Kirk Michaels is dead.
Dead?
I saw the death certificate. God help me. I'm the one who decided to bring him back to life. I knew it from the very beginning, Molly. That young man that you and Emily found in our backyard, he was a stranger. He'd been in a terrible accident. An accident that almost killed him and destroyed his memory.
Was it that train wreck at Grand Falls?
Yes, he was in that accident. And he walked for miles to get here. But here wasn't his destination. He wasn't Kirk Michaels coming home. He was a fugitive looking for sanctuary.
A fugitive? From what?
It doesn't matter. The point is that he looked just enough the way that Kirk might have turned out 10 years later. Enough for Emily to get the notion in her head that it was Kirk. God knows I should have told her the truth when I found out, but I didn't.
Then you yourself confirmed it? You told Emily it was true?
Yes, I told her. After I realized how important it was to her, how much it meant to her.
Well, it did change her life. She's a new person, a happy person for the first time since I've known her.
Her dream had come true, Molly. I just couldn't destroy it.
When did you find out who he really was?
It was a day or so after. There was a newspaper story on the front page. Thank God Emily didn't bother with the paper. She didn't see the photograph or the headlines that would have told her the truth. Although now I wish she had. It would have been better to get it over with before she became so involved.
I never saw it myself, Doctor.
Yeah, it was him all right, Molly. There's no question about it. A young man, an attorney, accused of a crime, sent to prison. That's why he was on that train.
A criminal? Then it's true.
No, it's not true. He was exonerated. He was proven innocent. It was only too late.
This is incredible. If Miss Emily knew.
The headlines in the paper, Molly, it was about his burial, his funeral service.
But how could that be?
Oh, the body was wrongly identified. I don't know how. Somehow the deputy on the train was handcuffed to the wrong man. I can't explain it.
Maybe you're mistaken. From what I read about the train wreck, there were so many bodies washed out into the river.
No, it's no mistake, Molly. It's him. He's from Monticello. And he's well known there. And if he goes back now, someone will recognize him sooner or later.
But the fingerprints. What about the fingerprints? Didn't they prove?
No, Molly. I faked that experiment.
You faked?
I used his own prints to convince him that he was Kirk Michaels. I must have been crazy to do such a thing, but I did it.
Well, you did it for your daughter, for Emily.
See, that's why I was so anxious to get Dr. Wellman's opinion about Kirk's amnesia. I wanted that amnesia to be permanent, hopeless. I wanted that young man to spend the rest of his life as Emily's husband.
Oh, dear Dr. Galt, how could you have been so foolish?
Yes, it was foolish and desperate. Sometimes the prospects of the future makes one do things like that. You understand what I'm saying, don't you, Molly?
No, I don't.
I won't always be here, Molly, to take care of Emily. There won't be anyone.
No, that's just not true.
I hope that Kirk could take my place. My fictitious Kirk. It was feasible when he was sick and weak, but now he's strong. Strong enough to feel the pull of the past. That's why he wants to go back to Monticello.
Dear God, if he does and he remembers... Dr. Galt, this man, is he... Does he have a family?
Yes, Molly. He has a wife and a newborn child. Do you see what I've done? Do you see what I fear?
Hello? Oh, yes, Oscar. Oh, good. She's on her way up. Fine, thank you. Bye-bye. See, your Aunt Deborah's coming up to see you. Here she is. Hello.
Hello. Hi. You look great.
Oh,
it's a little housewarming
you.
gift for you.
That's sweet of you. Oh.
At least it's not breakable.
Hello,
Julia. How are you?
Huh?
Look at how adorable she is.
Yeah, listen, I should have put her in bed a little while ago, but actually I was kind of anxious to have some company while I worked.
Yeah, well, I'll keep you company. I wouldn't mind at all. In fact, I'd like to help you work.
Oh, don't be silly. This is a social visit. Besides, I don't know where anything is or where anything's going to go.
Well, at least I can help you unpack. Really, I'd be glad to do it.
Well, the only thing I really want to unpack is one particular letter.
Raven's letter?
Yeah, the one she gave me before taking off for London.
Do you remember what it said?
Not exactly, but it definitely stated that Jamie was ours to do with whatever we wanted.
An outright gift.
That's just about it.
Well, if that won't convince a judge that Raven doesn't want her baby, I don't know what will. I'd really like to help you find it.
Well, if you really want to, I'm going to help yourself.
Okay. Which box?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Believe me, there is no method to this packing.
All right. Start with this one. April, you do intend to give Logan the letter, don't you?
Of course I do.
Why did I ask?
It's very nice of you to do this, Derek.
That's my forgiving nature.
Oh, I don't think you're the forgiving type, but that's one of the things I like about you.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. See, I don't think you let people push you around, or you wouldn't have the kind of job you do.
Everybody has their limits. God knows I've got mine.
And I pushed you right to the edge of those limitations, didn't I? Oh, God. I can't believe I did that. I actually tried to talk you into using your influence as chief of police to call off your detectives. Derek, I am very, very sorry.
So, How do you like taking care of Jamie yourself?
I like it a lot, I really do.
Doesn't seem to interfere with your social life.
No, I have a babysitter. And it's not an armed policeman. She's a trained nurse.
Is she?
Mm-hmm. I don't see why having a baby should interfere with one's private life. I mean, look at Logan, for heaven's sake. He works every day, nights sometimes. I'm sure he partied all he wanted to, even when Jamie was here. As a matter of fact, I probably spend more time with Jamie than Logan ever did.
I don't want to argue.
I don't want to
the
argue
point.
either. As a matter of fact, I don't even want to talk about Logan. He's not worth it.
Logan's still my friend, Raven. This dinner isn't going to change that.
Okay. You can think of him as your friend, but just don't think of him as my husband, okay? Because he's that in name only. We were never really right for each other.
Well, and separation was the only answer for the two of you. It's just too bad there had to be a baby in the picture.
Well, there was a baby, and he's going to stay with me. And someday, I'll find him the daddy he deserves. And the man that I need.
Excuse me. Sir, your table is ready in the back.
The table in the back?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it's a lousy table. What's wrong with this table here? Anybody got it?
No, you can have that.
Okay, send our drinks over.
You see, Derek, I need a strong man, and most of the men I know are weaklings.
Well, that doesn't sound like my description of Logan.
Well, he might be very strong when he's with you, but there are many ways that men show their weakness.
Oh?
Well, look, if Logan had really cared about me, he would have handled me differently.
How?
Well, he wouldn't have let me get away with as many things as I got away with.
Raven, you've lost me.
Well, see, when I was a child, my daddy used to punish me every time I did something wrong. He would stand for none of that childish nonsense. And so I sort of knew what I could do and what I couldn't do.
So is that what you're looking for in a husband? A stern father?
No, I don't think I have a father fixation. It's just that if Kevin Jameson and Logan Swift had an ounce of the strength that my daddy had...
Raven, you're kidding yourself. You think you aren't the kind of man who can keep you in line. But I've got the feeling if anybody tried to put a collar around that pretty neck of yours, you'd scream bloody murder.
That's true, I would. Even if it were a diamond collar. As a matter of fact, I did get a little rebellious toward Daddy.
I hope you got spanked for it.
No, I didn't. Daddy never spanked me. He would never hurt me physically. That wasn't his way. Besides, I was Daddy's little baby girl. That's why my mother was very jealous. We never got along. That's why we still don't get along.
Your father's passed away now, isn't he?
Ah, yes. Mother remarried.
Yeah, I know, too. Draper Scott's father. He told me the story.
You have a very good memory. I guess a police chief has to have a very good memory. He also has to be very strong. I like that.
Before you start getting any ideas that I'd make the ideal husband, let me remind you about my own unsuccessful marriage.
Your wife must have been a fool.
No, she was just a girl. Maybe a little bit too young to be married yet. Maybe a little too spoiled to be married at all. But I guess there were faults on both sides. There. You see, I am the forgiving type.
That's okay. Just so you forgive me. Especially for what I did to your friend.
For stealing Jamie from the hospital? It's not up to me to forgive you for that. But I don't like what you did.
I'm sure you don't.
You must realize just how badly Logan feels about not having his son with him anymore.
He knows what he can do about it.
I'm not even sure what he can do about it.
He'll probably take some kind of legal action.
I'm sure he's considering all his possibilities, yes.
Well, you are his friend. He'll probably talk to you about it, and when he does, maybe you could give him some good advice.
Don't get me involved in this, Raven.
Okay. Okay. Look, I'm gonna go call my babysitter right now, but I'll be right back.
Okay.
You working okay, Mr. D?
Okay, Charlie, I think we can take a break now. Pour us a couple of drinks, will you?
Want to make it 2?
I guess there's nothing left to do but to wait and see if the good people of Monticello appreciate what Elliot Dorn hath wrought for them.
Well, your guess is as good as mine. You never can tell how people are going to react to these things.
That's right. Sometimes the more you do to make a place look like the place they would really like to be in, the less they're interested. But with a little bit of luck, there's room in this town for 2 discos.
You're not the only one who thinks so. Did you hear about that place called Dreams?
Yeah, I read about it. It's financed by the people over at the Electric Balloon.
Sounds like they're looking for a location. Right near this place.
Well, maybe by the time they get here, we'll have the clientele.
I sure hope so.
You don't sound too optimistic, Charlie.
Well, you never know, huh?
Okay, man. What's bothering you? Oh, you never said a word about the lights? You never said a word about the decorations? Don't you like it?
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, you know, lights and stuff, it's fine. I mean, that's what the kids like, right? Lots of lights and music.
But?
Look, I don't know it. But there's something missing, Mr. Dorn. Something that makes it... Well, you know, different than all the other discos.
No, I hope you're wrong, Charlie.
So do I. Unicorn! Oh, yeah, he's here. It's that lovely lady, Mr. D.
Hello?
Hi, baby. How are you?
Oh, there's the little mother. How's the little boy doing?
He is just as good as gold. As a matter of fact, I'm sitting right here looking at him playing his playpen.
Well, I'm in my own playpen, but I'll be finished in about half an hour, so why don't I come by and pick you up?
Now, look, that's what I called you about. I am exhausted. This kid has so much energy, I've not stopped running around for 8 hours.
Oh, poor baby. You need a little relaxation.
That's true. See, I was thinking of feeding him and putting him to bed and then washing my hair and going to bed myself. You know, I want to look real good for that opening.
Well, if that's the way you want it.
Oh, I knew you'd understand. So I have to go deal with him right now, but I'll talk to you real soon, okay? Bye-bye.
Better call the babysitter.
Hello?
Hello, this is Mrs. Swift. What took you so long to answer the phone?
No, I was in the bathroom, Mrs. Swift. But you don't have to worry about Jamie. He's fine.
Well, I hope he stays that way.
Yeah.
Look, I'll be home in a couple of hours, okay?
Oh, sure, Mrs. Swift. Bye. Oh, now, where were we?
Now, Steve didn't leave town because he was angry or anything like that. It's just that, well, he said he wanted to get away for a while, that's all. For a couple of months, anyway. He thinks that when he comes back, I'm going to change how I feel. I think you're really going to miss him. I miss him already. I feel like there's this big vacuum. I know exactly how you feel. I'm sure you do. Back to work, huh? This would take forever. Wait, Swift adoption. A letter? Yeah. To whom it may concern, I, Raven Swift, mother of Jameson Swift, do hereby give Mr. and Mrs. Draper Scott full and complete permission to raise my son as their own, with complete rights to make any and all decisions on his care, education, and upbringing, and to initiate whatever proceedings they deem necessary for legal guardianship or adoption. I declare that I am Jameson Swift's only legal parent, and make this statement in full confidence and trust that April and Draper Scott will make ideal parents.
Here we are, Doctor. Now, is there anything else I can do for you?
I'll be all right, Molly.
You really must get some rest. Please, go to bed early.
I have a lot to think about, Molly.
Please, don't think about it now. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe they'll change their minds about leaving.
No, they won't change their minds. They'll go to Monticello, and it'll be the end of Emily's happiness. I already know what I have to do, Molly. It's just a question of how.
What do you mean?
The truth about that young man will come out sooner or later. It's better that they know the truth now before they leave.
Are you going to tell him who he is?
I have no other choice. I'm going to tell both of them.
It's beautiful. Isn't this the warmest house you've ever been in? Well, look at those windows. So charming. And this fireplace. Oh, it's like a dream house. Honey, what is it?
I don't know. I feel like I've seen this house before. Well, it's a dream house, all right. Only a dream.
Dr. Galt, breakfast is ready.
Oh, I don't feel like breakfast, Molly. I have to go out.
Oh, you can't leave without eating something now. It just isn't good for you.
Oh, don't worry about me. I'll only be gone about an hour.
Where are you going so early?
I'm going over to that newspaper office in Springfield to see if I can get a photocopy of that front page I told you about.
Not the one with his picture.
Yes, Molly, with Kirk's picture. Or rather, the man who isn't Kirk Michaels. I realize it's the only way to convince Emily, to convince both of them of his real identity.
Dr. Galt, please, don't rush into this. Think about what you're doing.
I just can't see any other way, Molly. He's determined to move to Monticello, to make it his home. And I know why, because it is his home. He feels compelled to go back there. And Emily feels compelled to go with him.
Because she loves him? Well, don't you see how much she loves him?
Yes, Molly, I see. That's why I have to do this.
But maybe they'll be happy there with a new life for both of them. Don't they deserve that chance?
There won't be any chance, Molly. There'll only be shock and disappointment. And God knows how it'll affect Emily when this young man is identified by his friends, his family.
Well, maybe that won't happen. He's different now.
No, he's well known in Monticello, a public figure. That's why his picture was on the front page.
But if everyone thinks he's dead, including himself...
It doesn't matter, Molly, the fact that they believe him dead. He'll still be recognized sooner or later. And they'll know Draper Scott when they see him.
Oh, so that's his name. You never mentioned it before. And please, make it the last time.
What?
I've been thinking, Doctor. And I say you're wrong. I think you should just let things stand exactly as they are.
I can't do that, Molly. I'd rather have Emily know the truth before it blows up in her face. And I want to be with her when that happens. If those two move to Monticello and he's recognized, she'll have to suffer that moment all by herself. And God knows if I'll even be alive for her to come home to.
Oh, don't say that. I won't believe it.
No, we have to face it, Molly. My heart has just so many beats left in it. But as long as it keeps on going, I've got to help my daughter. I can't let her live with a lie.
Sometimes a lie is better than the truth, the terrible truth. Well, I've lied to myself for years.
You have?
Oh, you know all about it, Dr. Galt. You know that I've convinced myself that I was more than just a housekeeper, more than just a paid servant.
But you are, Molly. You know that.
You know that I've imagined myself to be the mistress of this house, as if I were your wife, Miss Emily's mother. Now, that was all a lie, but it was so precious to me that I couldn't give it away. Too important.
Molly, you've got to know how close you are to the truth. You know how we feel about you. Both Emily and me. And it's not a lie at all.
Don't do this to your daughter. I mean, if I do mean something to you, please, now let me have a voice in this.
Molly, my mind is made up.
I beg you, don't go to the newspaper. Don't tell Emily the truth. I mean, even if it's only a few more weeks or months of being happy, isn't it worth it? Let her dream last as long as it can.
I'm sorry, Molly. I'm sorry. But it has to be done.
Yes? Sure. Come on in.
Did you sleep all right?
Like a log. 10 straight hours. It must have been that long drive back. You know, I slept so well. My ribs didn't even keep me awake.
Poor thing. How do they feel this morning?
Better. I can breathe without any pain. How'd you sleep?
Oh. I don't think I dropped off before 1 o'clock. I couldn't get the picture of that house out of my mind. That beautiful, enchanted house. You know, I think I'll always think of that word in connection with it. Enchanted.
Yeah. Yeah, there was something unusual about the way it felt.
And the way we discovered it, too. That was magical. I mean, if you hadn't told me to drive down that certain street, it was as if destiny was driving the car.
Well, I certainly hope that Destiny had a driver's license.
Oh, don't make fun of me. I know the house isn't for us. And I'm not going to spend the rest of my life dreaming an impossible dream.
You know, I think I dreamt about the house last night.
You did?
Either that or I just remembered it as I woke up. But I'm glad that you realize that it's just a dream. Because until I get a job, we're going to be living in an apartment. A very small apartment.
Of course we will. And I promise you, I'm going to make it the nicest small apartment in Monticello. Even if it's a one-room flat.
We're not going to have much choice. No more choice than over the kind of job I can get. I'll take anything. I'll drive a cab, or I'll work as a checkout clerk in a supermarket. Then I'll go to school. I'll go to school at night, and I'll learn a trade.
And I'll work, too. I'm sure I can get a job.
I'm sorry, what? Doing what?
Well, I don't know. I could drive a cab, or I could work at a grocery store as a checkout clerk.
But you couldn't do anything I could do. I bet you couldn't. I bet you couldn't raise one of these beards.
Oh, I love that beard. You promise me you won't shave it off?
No. I am not going to promise that at all.
You know, Kirk, this is going to be fun. A struggle can be fun if two people do it together. Don't you believe that?
Emily, I don't think you realize how painful this kind of struggle could be. I mean, there's nothing romantic about poverty.
Well, it just won't matter. I'll learn how to do things. I'll I'll scrimp and I'll save and I'll work really hard. Well, I already know how to can fruits and vegetables. And I sew. I'll make my own clothes. Hey, you married a good old country girl. And I'm in love. That's the most important thing. I'm in love, and that makes me very, very rich.
Man.
Ready for me?
Why, sure, Sheriff. Get off your horse, unsling your pistol, set yourself down.
I don't think you know why I'm here.
My irresistible charm?
Well, in addition to your irresistible charm, Mr. District Attorney, this is for you from Detective Steve Guthrie.
It's a Pendleton file, huh? That's what he was working on before he left.
Yeah, now he's out west dealing with dangerous criminals.
Don't sound too happy about that.
No, I'm just worried about him, that's all. Little. I know he can take care of himself. It's just that, well, you know, dangerous undercover work is pretty frightening. I guess I shouldn't talk about it. Otherwise, it won't be undercover anymore, will it?
That simple, huh? I thought it might be complicated, like perhaps you missed the guy, something like that.
Of course I miss him. Don't have anybody to pay for my hamburgers anymore.
Okay, I give up. I was just surprised to hear the news, that's all. I didn't think Mr. Guthrie wanted to get that far away from a certain red-headed lady police officer.
Just thought it wasn't time to get away. We didn't have an argument or anything. It's just that we have to decide what we want to do with our lives and when.
Well, if that's the case, this separation is probably a good thing. I mean, it'll help you come to a decision or a compromise or whatever, right?
Maybe. Look, I didn't come here to cry on your shoulder, Logan.
You picked a good day for it. I got a clean handkerchief.
No, came here to talk business.
Pendleton case?
Mm-hmm.
You taking over on that?
Yep, Chief Mallory assigned it to me, so I came over here to decide how you felt about it.
Well, it's fine with me. It's terrific. I'm glad to have you aboard.
Thank you.
In fact, if you feel like working a few nights, I could even see that the district attorney's office picks up the tab for the hamburgers.
All right, I expect to have a few free nights myself.
You and me both, now that Raven's got Jamie.
Oh, boy, I don't know why I'm so selfish thinking about my problems all the time. You've got far worse ones yourself.
No, come on, please. No. Didn't mean it that way at all. Today's a new day. I'm going to work my way out of these troubles starting right now.
How?
Well, I got some news today. I got the decision on the paternity suit. Cliff is going to bring over a little certificate from the court later on today. You are looking at the person who is officially Jamie's father.
Logan, that is wonderful.
Isn't it? It's only a beginning, though. Only the first step. The second part is the toughie, the custody suit.
You think there will be one?
Yeah, no question. Raven's going to hang on to Jamie until the court forces her to turn loose.
Just remembered the letter.
What letter?
The letter. Last night, we found it.
You mean Raven's letter?
Yes, I was with April last night. She was going through all of her boxes and things.
She found it and she didn't call me?
Well, she said she was going to call you first thing in the morning.
Well, she didn't. Maybe I'd better call her. You don't mind, do it?
Go ahead.
Maggie, would you get a hold of Mrs. Scott for me, please? Yeah, you better use the new number. Okay, thank you.
April read the letter to me. I hope you don't mind.
No, not a bit. How did it sound to you?
Sounded great.
Yeah?
Raven gave it all up.
Oh, beautiful.
She gave April and Draper complete permission to do whatever they wanted with him.
We have got her cold. Hello, April?
Logan, I was going to call you this morning.
Well, Deborah is here in the office right now. She told me you found Exhibit A. You are a terrific lady, you know that? You got it all. You got brains, you got looks, you got the letter. Deborah said
Logan,
you two... Just a second, April. What?
I've got to run. I forgot. I meant to meet Calvin for breakfast. I'll see you later.
Okay, I'll go over this Pendleton stuff tonight, and I'll get back to you tomorrow morning. It looks good, okay? See you. Thank you for coming in. I'm sorry, Deborah had to leave. Anyway, I was saying, she told me you two read the letter last night, and it sounds thoroughly incriminating.
Yeah, I don't know what the court is going to make of it, but I'll tell you, I could definitely feel that, well, that Raven, I know exactly what she meant to do. It's quite obvious that she gave us Jamie without any stipulations.
Oh, we have got her. That'll do it. That really will do it. No, I've seen custody cases decided on far less evidence of indifference than that.
Listen, Logan, you do understand that this letter is only indicative of what Raven's feelings were several months ago. It doesn't mean she feels the same way today.
Uh-huh. Well, if she wants to try and make that point in court, I'm sure she's welcome to do it. No, I take that back. She is not welcome. I'm hoping the fact that I have the letter is going to discourage her from even wanting to set foot in a courtroom.
Yeah, well, that certainly would be best for everyone involved.
Best for Jamie, that's for sure. Which reminds me, later today, I'm getting a little piece of paper which says officially whose little boy he is.
What are you talking about? What kind of paper?
I won the paternity suit. Raven didn't fight it, so it went through the courts a lot faster than I expected.
Logan, I'm so glad at least that's all out of the way.
Unfortunately, it doesn't give me the legal right to take him back, but it does put me on an equal footing with Raven if a custody battle is necessary.
Well, maybe this letter will mean it's totally unnecessary.
Hope so. I really hope so. All depends, though. Look, would you mind if I came by later this evening, picked up that letter?
Well, actually, I have a better idea. I thought I might deliver it in person.
That is a better idea.
Yeah, well, Mrs. Goodman said she'd take care of Julia for a while, and I really got to get out of this house.
Oh, then why don't we have lunch?
I'd love it. Listen, I will leave here just as soon as Mrs. Goodman gets here.
Terrific. I will look forward to seeing you.
Fine.
Bye-bye.
Sorry I'm late.
Well, it's okay. A couple more minutes, I might have dozed off on you.
You have a bad night?
Oh, it was so long. It was just so long. You know, 8 hours can seem like 80 staked out in some drafty warehouse waiting for a bunch of fur thieves to show up, who, by the way, never did.
Oh, no, not another bad tip.
Yeah, this one we got from Kenny Birdsong Stew. You know, Steve always told me that guy was worth us, and last night he really proved it. As a matter of fact, I'm glad Steve is not here. I'd have to listen to him horse laugh all through breakfast. Oh, you know, the thing I like least about this night shift is that Star now has a job. She's working for a talent agency, and she leaves the house every morning at 8:30.
Oh, I see. You never get a chance to see her anymore.
Exactly. When I come in, she's going out. It's a rotten life, I tell you.
Still like the married life, Calvin?
You kidding? I don't know how I ever stayed single so long. Marriage is the only way to go. Oh, sorry. I realize that is a sore subject.
No, it's all right, really. As long as you don't blame me for having Steve break up the Three Musketeers because I refused his marriage proposal.
Oh, and then you had to make your decision. You had to do what you thought was best.
You know, sometimes I wonder if I'm ever going to get married at all.
No, maybe you're not the marrying kind.
I saw Logan a little while ago. Gave him some good news. Got the letter from Raven.
Oh, hey, now that's great. I'm sure that he could use some good news.
Yeah, he's been pretty depressed lately. This whole thing's really affecting him. See what marriage does to you?
No. You can't hold that up as an example of marriage. Not Raven and Logan.
I guess so. It's funny, though, how his mood changed when he was talking to April on the phone.
Yeah, well, I guess he's real happy about getting hold of that letter.
Yeah, I guess so.
To whom it may concern, I, Raven Swift, mother of Jameson Swift, do hereby give Mr. Mrs. Draper Scott full and complete permission to raise my son as their own. Hi, April. How are ya? God, Raven? Excuse me. Oh, sure. Yes? Obviously. Don't let it happen again, Oscar. Oscar said you walked right past him.
Well, I didn't know I needed to be announced.
Everyone is announced, Raven. It is their job.
Even your best friend?
Look, I'm sorry, but I really don't have any time to socialize. I have to leave.
Oh, please, can I just go out here for a little while?
Raven, I'm meeting someone downtown.
Oh, well, then you probably are getting a babysitter, right?
Yes, Mrs. Goodman should be here any minute.
Well, great. I'll wait here with you for her. It's so beautiful out. I can't believe it.
that the letter? Yes, it is. I found it last night. What are you going to do with that? You're going to give that to Logan, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I knew it. I knew it. You've already made up your mind. You don't care if I lose Jamie.
Logan, Raven, I want you to...
April, one of the reasons I was willing to give Jamie to you is because I thought you couldn't have children. I felt so sorry for you, and what do I get for it? Now you're going to use that letter against me to take my baby away. What if it were Julia? What if it were Julia? How would you feel if one of your friends used something like that against you?
Raven, you gave Jamie away once.
Once? What does once matter? I love him now. And I want him now. What kind of a mother are you?
I know it's going to be hard on you, but you're not going to regret it. Leaving your family and all.
I'm going to see them again. We're not moving that far away. In fact, we'll probably see them often.
Yeah, I know, but let's face it, all we're probably going to have is a small studio apartment.
Will you stop worrying about that? I'll be happy wherever we are. And maybe in a smaller apartment, we'll become even closer.
I'm sure we will.
Dr. Galt, you're back.
Well, I told you I wouldn't be long.
Did you find what you were looking for at the newspaper?
Yes, Molly, they had the story on file, and they made me a photocopy of the picture on the front page. Here it is.
No, I can't look at it. Oh. Dear God. It is him.
Yes, Molly, it's him. Draper Scott, and not Kurt Michaels. And the sooner they see this, the better.
Oh, Dr. Galt, wait, please.
Don't try to stop me, Molly.
Think what you're going to do to that poor girl. You are going to break her heart. Don't you have any feelings? Dr. Galt, you're back.
Yes, I told you it wouldn't be long.
Did you find what you were looking for at the newspaper?
Yes, Molly. They had the story on file, and they made me a photocopy of the picture on the front page. Here it is.
I don't want to look at it. Oh, dear God. It's him.
Yes, it's him. Draper Scott, not Kirk Michaels. And the sooner they see this, the better.
Oh, Dr. Galt, wait, please.
Don't try to stop me, Molly.
Think of what you're going to do to that poor girl. You are going to break her heart. Don't you have any feelings?
Help someone! Dr. Galt!
Daddy! Daddy!
Get a blanket. He should be kept warm.
He was on his way upstairs. I'm going to go get an ambulance.
Tell them to hurry, Molly.
I will, Miss Emily.
It's just hard, isn't it?
I don't know. Probably is.
Kept telling me those little attacks were nothing to worry about. And I could see they were getting worse. It's just a matter of time before this happened. Why did this have to happen now? Everything was going so well. He's going to be all right. He just has to be all
Emily,
right.
try to relax. Everything is going to be fine.
I know. Look at his face. He's so gray and still.
When the ambulance comes, the doctors will take care of him.
Of course they will. And it's not too late. It can't be too late.
April, how can you do this to me? How can you be so vindictive as to make me pay for one little impulsive mistake the rest of my life?
Raven, I'm not trying to punish you.
If you give Logan that letter, I will lose every chance I have of getting Jamie back. You might as well stick a knife right in my heart. How can you hate me so much?
I don't hate you.
Well, then why can't you believe I've changed?
I'd love to believe it, but the fact is I already know what kind of a parent Logan is.
The only reason you're on Logan's side is because he's Draper's best friend.
That has absolutely nothing to do with it.
I realize that you have certain loyalties, but don't you think you ought to do what's right?
I am doing what's right. What's right for Jamie.
Ever since Jamie has been with me, he's been a very happy little boy. I've taken very good care of him.
Well, he needs very good care taken of him all the time, not just when the mood strikes you.
I'm gonna be a full-time mother from now on.
Raven, you had that chance, and let's face it, you blew it. This letter wouldn't even exist if one day you hadn't woken up and decided that that baby was just a little too much trouble
Come
for you.
on, you know what was happening to me. At the time I was upset, I didn't know what I was doing. And besides, don't you think that you could raise a baby a lot better than a man? Logan hires babysitters all the time.
Logan spends as much time as he possibly can with that baby.
Which isn't much, and you know it. He's a workaholic. He's in that office every day and many nights.
There are mothers who work too, Raven. As a matter of fact, I plan on going back to work myself someday.
But Julia will be your first priority. Jamie is Logan's second priority. Why won't you believe me? The most important thing in my life is my son. I don't even have anything else.
You know, Raven, it's really funny. I think you really believe what you're saying, at least for the moment.
I mean every word of it. My son is my entire future. And if you give Logan that letter, you'll make me miserable the rest of my life.
I've already promised Logan the letter.
Well, why can't he come over here? Why can't he come over here right now while I'm here? Please, will you just give me a chance?
Raven, I don't even know if he would come over here.
But don't you think this is a little too important for you two just to decide by yourselves? Please, April.
Look, we've been going through this for an hour now. Will you just take the deal?
I don't know, Cliff. 3 months?
All right. My client will plead guilty and make full restitution in exchange for 6 months in jail.
6 months, huh? That's a little better.
I'll even throw in a baseball autographed by the world champion Pittsburgh Pirates.
Oh, just make sure your client doesn't autograph it the way he did Mr. Widmer's checks.
That is a low blow. You know, this proceeding could take 4 months. Do you want to tie up one of your assistants for a two-bit case like this for that long?
You got a point there. It's a deal.
At last! Oh. You know, we would have settled for 9 months in jail.
Oh, you are smooth. I'd have settled for 3.
Well, the next time we plea bargain, you owe me 3 months.
Or you owe me 3 months. I think it depends on how
It's
you
all
look
right.
at it.
I'm very, very happy the way that this turned out. I have to tell you, I feel more than strange about our new relationship.
What do you mean, plea bargaining against me or me being your client?
Oh, plea bargaining against you. I'm more than happy to represent you in Swift versus Swift. In fact, I'll do anything in my power to get that little kid back for you. So, I think it's time for a small chat with the opposition. So I arranged the meeting.
You arranged it without consulting me?
Well, hey, I don't want to consult you on every little thing. I know how busy you can be.
Well, when is this meeting with Raven's lawyer supposed to take place?
Well, Raven hasn't retained counsel yet.
Then how the hell are you going to have a meeting with the opposition?
I may as well tell you this before you hear it from somebody else. The meeting that I arranged is with Raven herself. Tonight, over dinner.
Is this little tete-a-tete for my benefit or for yours?
How can you say that?
Because every time you're in a room together with Raven, you give a very convincing impersonation of a puppy dog. Your tongue hangs out, you drool.
All right, I'll admit, I think she's a very attractive woman, but what does that matter to you? You're separated.
Oh, yeah, you could drive a truck through the gap between us, but you are my lawyer, Cliff.
And tonight is strictly business. I just want to see what Raven really wants.
Well, good luck to you. I don't think she knows that.
Listen, you just established paternity. Maybe I could use that as a lever in some form of, negotiation. If I can scare Raven, maybe she'd be willing to have an out-of-court settlement, and that would save you a lot of public embarrassment.
Well, a little word of advice. Before you sit down for this chat with her, put your wallet in your back pocket and take your ring off.
Hey, I can handle Raven.
Oh, yeah? You take your eyes off her for a second, she's going to pick you clean.
How do you know I won't pick her clean?
If I find out you've divulged any information to her which is damaging to my case, I will personally hang you up by the thumbs. Yes, Maggie. Yeah, sure, I'll take that. April, how are you? What's up?
Good. Listen, I called to tell you about a change in plans.
Well, what's the matter? Can't consider?
Raven's here.
She is? What does she want? Oh, never mind. I shouldn't have asked that. You're not going to give it to her, are you?
No, of course not.
Well, what is it then? You can tell me.
Well, I just thought maybe you could come over here and the three of us could sit down and discuss this.
Okay, I'll be right over.
Thank you for making that call.
Raven, I hope you realize that this, I haven't changed my mind about giving Logan the letter. You do realize that, don't you?
We'll see.
This isn't a contest, where the person with the best argument is going to win the letter. Nor do I want this to turn into a shouting match.
I'll be very civilized.
I want the three of us to sit down like mature adults and to make a realistic appraisal of the situation.
Fine.
What I would like to come out of this meeting is a compromise so that a very messy custody battle will be unnecessary.
Great. Could I see Julia? What? I haven't seen her in a while. I probably don't even remember what she looks like.
Raven, look, as much as I would love to show off my daughter, she happens to have a habit of this time of day she sleeps.
It's just that ever since I've been back with Jamie, I really like watching babies. The way they learn about themselves and look at the environment. It's just fascinating. Maybe I could just go up and take a peek. I'll be real quiet.
No, I don't think that would be a very good idea.
Oh.
Listen, if you'll excuse me for a second, I think I will check on her.
Okay, could I use your telephone? I want to call my babysitter.
Here you go.
Thank you. Well, it won't be long now, Charlie. In a matter of hours, the new unicorn is going to be open for business.
Well, I don't think I'll recognize this joint with people in it, Mr. Dorn.
I'm not expecting people, Charlie. I'll settle for nothing less than a mass of humanity. And with a line of late arrivals stretching halfway around the block.
Now, don't you be surprised if there's a convention of bill collectors at the head of that line.
Problems, huh?
Problems? I've never seen so many final notices arrive in one mail delivery in my whole life.
Well, you've got to spend money to get money. We'll get it back 1,000-fold.
Well, better come back fast or we're going to have a whole lot of angry creditors breathing down our necks.
Oh, they'll get their money in time.
Why don't you make some partial payments, just to keep the heat off?
No can do, Charlie. A beach ball couldn't bounce as high as any check I might write.
You mean you're that much in the hole?
Let me tell you. The corporate account is gone. All my personal savings have been invested in this venture. This is it for me, Charlie. It has got to work.
Oh, boy, that's going to be tough to stall.
Well, when they come around, you just turn up the music a little bit and pretend you can't hear.
Well, you better hope that the sound system isn't the first thing they repossess.
Every disco in town is a gold mine, Charlie. There's no reason why this one can't be. So, in no time at all, we'll be back in the black.
Well, I hope so for your sake. This is a funny business. There aren't any guarantees.
Are you sounding negative? It's time for some energy, Charlie. Come on, let's drink to that.
Yeah, I'll drink to it.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I saw your marquee outside and caught my eye. I thought I'd come in and check the place out.
Oh, I appreciate your interest, but we won't be open until this evening. Why don't you come back tonight and check the place out to your heart's content? And bring your friends.
Oh, well, you're depending on the wrong guy to draw a crowd for you.
What's the matter? Don't your friends like having a good time?
I've only been in town a couple days. Only people I know are my aunt and uncle.
Hey, yes, well, we'll have to remedy that. The best place to remedy that is here, because this is the place where all the young people of Monticello are going to gather.
What sort of club is this?
This is the hottest and the latest disco of Monticello.
Phone call for you, Mr. Dorn.
Be right there, Charlie. Excuse me.
Yeah, hey, just one thing before you go.
Yeah.
Would it be okay if I came back when you're not so busy?
Any particular reason?
Yeah, I've got something I want to show you, and I think you're going to find it real interesting.
Would it cost me anything?
Free of charge.
Well, in that case, I'll be delighted. Just ask for Elliot Dorn. That's me. I'm the owner.
Okay, I'm McGrath. Kelly McGrath. Pleased to meet you, Mr. Dorn.
Yeah. Charlie, I hope it's not one of those nasty people asking for money.
It's a lady. And by the sound of her voice, I'd give her anything she asked for.
No, Charlie. Never give a lady anything she asks for. Hello.
Hello, darling, it's me.
Oh, Raven, you were supposed to be down here and give me a helping hand.
Forget about that. I'm in April's right now, and I have something very important to say, but I have to speak fast, so be very quiet and listen.
But Dr. Galt has had a heart attack. He may be dying, and you're trying to tell me that the only available ambulance is broken down? Will you tell him to fix that darn thing and get right over here? Oh, God knows when they're going to get here.
Doesn't matter now, Molly.
He's regained consciousness?
He's dead, Molly. Daddy's dead.
No. It can't be.
It's true.
I just can't believe that he's gone.
Oh, Miss Emily, I am so sorry. Oh, if that ambulance had only come, we might have been able to save him.
No, it wouldn't have made any difference.
Well, I suppose not. When I saw Dr. Galt like that on the stairs, I knew. I just didn't want to admit it.
Why did it have to happen?
It's a part of life, Miss Emily. A very hard part that hurts all of us.
But it's so unfair. I loved him so much.
I know, my dear. Miss Emily, would you mind if I went upstairs for a moment to say goodbye?
Oh, of course.
Thank you.
Would you hold me, please?
Dr. Galt? Leo, you were such a good man. I'm going to miss you so very much. You get to know a lot about a person spending so much time under the same roof that feelings develop. Sometimes you're afraid to admit that you even have those feelings, even to yourself. But I wasn't just the woman who cleaned your house and fixed your meals and took care of Emily. I loved you. I'm sure you know that. And if I seemed just a little bit demanding at times, it was only because that I didn't. Well, it was the only way I had to keep a proper distance. But it's all right now. I was the lady of your house, Leo. And that was enough for me. We were a family. You and me and Emily. I grew to love Emily so much, just as much as if she were my own. And I swear to you, Leo, now that you can't be here anymore, I will take care of her. I will protect her, and I won't let anyone harm her. This man who changed her life and made her so happy, this Kirk or Draper, whatever his name is, she needs him. He's all she has left. And so, for Emily's sake, because everyone thinks that he is dead, he has got to stay dead.
Good morning. It was a lovely day. I thought we should meet out here.
It's funny, I feel there's a dark cloud hanging over my head.
Oh, really? It's probably just guilt because you know it was wrong to try to take away my little baby.
Raven, we came here to discuss this, to work out a compromise.
Yeah, if we're just going to try and goad each other into a fight, there's no point in my being here. I'll leave
Logan,
now.
wait a minute. Now, I love him. In the short time that we have been together, I've grown very attached to him, and I do not want to give him up.
Heard all this before. I mean, your inflection is better, but then you've had time to rehearse, isn't
What
it?
do I have to do to prove to you that I love my baby?
How about letting him come to a home where he's wanted?
He's got that.
I am now legally Jamie's father. Cliff has dug up some very good precedents for me, plus I've got you on a charge of abandonment. I stand a very good chance of shooting you down in court, and that letter clinches it. Now, why am I here? What do you want to talk to me about?
Look, I'm willing to be reasonable.
I'll believe that when I see it.
Perhaps we can work out some sort of visitation rights, maybe shared custody.
Now, that may be fair to you both, Logan. What do you think about that?
It's up to a court to decide that once it's seen the facts. And it won't have seen the facts until it sees that letter. It's part of the evidence. It's part of the truth. Isn't it?
Yes. I'll get the letter.
You must be very proud of yourself. You sure did a job on her.
I'm sure you're proud of the job you did on me when you took Jamie out of the hospital.
All I did was go in and pick up my poor sick baby after you and your police babysitters nearly let him die. You really think you're going to get him away from me, don't you?
That's exactly what I intend to do, yes.
You have half the town on your side, including April.
April's on Jamie's side.
You really won her over completely, didn't you? Tell me something. Did you do it with just tea and sympathy, or was there a little bit of moonlight and roses? I'm sorry. Logan, why do you have to be so hard on me? I know I've done a lot of rotten things, but I'm different.
Different? That's funny. I look at you and I see the same woman I made the mistake of marrying.
If I look like the same woman, you must still want me.
Oh, Raven. The only thing I want from you is that you take very good care of Jamie until this custody suit is settled.
All right. All right, I will turn him over to you in terrific shape. There, you see, I've admitted it. You win, I lose.
Here's the letter.
Let me see that. That's a forgery.
Raven, it's the same Raven!
You've certainly won her over completely. Tell me something. How'd you do it? Was it tea and sympathy, or perhaps a little moonlight and roses? I'm sorry, Logan. Why do you have to be so hard on me? I know I've done a lot of rotten things in my life, but I'm different.
Different? That's funny. I look at you and see exactly the same woman I made the mistake of marrying.
If you see the same woman, you must still want me.
No, Raven. All I want from you is that you take very good care of Jamie until this custody suit is settled.
All right. All right, I will return him to you in good condition. There, you see, I admit it. You win and I lose. Here's the letter. Let me see that. That's a forgery!
Oh, it's the real letter,
Forgery.
Raven.
Raven! What? Do you see it?
Yeah.
Oh, by the corner.
Write this down. I'm gonna go get it.
All right. It wasn't deliberate, Logan.
Not deliberate. You're not gonna get away with this. I'm gonna find that letter. I'm gonna make you eat it in open court.
My God, Raven, you planned this whole thing, didn't you? I mean, you didn't want Logan up here to talk about any letter. It was all part of your little scheme.
You don't think I was really going to let Logan keep that letter, do you?
Oh, he'll keep it, Raven. He will find it, he will pick it up, and he'll keep it within 5 minutes.
Well, how could I have planned this? If I had planned this, I would have picked a plan that worked.
Well, what did you expect? That the wind was going to carry your letter right over the river? My God, you are contemptible.
Spare me your speeches. If you were in my shoes, you'd do the same damn thing.
If I were in your shoes, I never would have abandoned my baby to begin with.
So you think I'm doing this whole thing just to hurt Logan?
The idea did occur to me.
Oh, you can't possibly believe that I love Jamie just as much as you love Julia.
Well, I don't know how that exactly is supposed to be meant now. Is that a compliment to you or an insult to me?
He is my son. He's my own flesh and blood. Of course I love him.
This time spare me, Raven.
It's true. At heart, we're the same. You would kill for your child, and so would I. Haven't the things that I have done to get Jamie back and keep him proven to you my sincerity?
All that has proved to me is that you will bend over backwards to cause a lot of trouble for a lot of people.
Well, I am going to keep custody of Jamie. And you can bet every cent that your mama gave you on that.
Do you know, Raven, I have never met anyone like you in my whole entire life. No one can run that hot and that cold. The first year of your baby's life, you couldn't even acknowledge his existence, and now you expect me and everybody else to accept the belief that that baby is the driving force in your life? What is it? Tell me, what is it that you stand to gain from all of this?
All of those months in London, without my baby, made me realize how much I needed him. Now I have to go, because if Logan doesn't find that letter, he's going to throw me off the terrace. Before I go, though, I have to ask you one more favor.
I don't believe you. You honestly do not know when to quit.
Well, forget it. What's the use anyway? You're on his side. I don't have a chance. It's just that I thought you would understand.
Where are they taking him, Molly?
County General, I suppose, until we have time to make arrangements for the funeral.
Well, we'll have to do that.
Molly and I will take care of those details.
I just can't believe it. I can't believe that my father is dead. I miss him already. I know I'm just going to miss him more and more.
I wish there was something I could do, something I could say to take away this pain. But I can't, Emily. All I can do is just to be here with you and to hold you.
Oh, please don't let go.
Go ahead. If you want to cry, just let it all out.
I don't think I'll ever forget the way you looked lying on those stairs.
I talked to the paramedics, and they said it was a massive coronary. There was no prolonged pain.
Yeah, this shouldn't come as a shock. It had to happen. It was just a matter of time.
Did Dr. Galt tell you that?
Yeah, in a way. When he came back from seeing that cardiologist in Chicago, he kept reassuring me that everything was fine, but I could see it was getting worse.
He didn't want to worry you.
And then this last month, he's been so concerned about my future, about what would become of me after he was gone. I knew then that it was just a matter of time before this happened.
Miss Emily, your father had every reason for his concern.
What did he tell you, Molly?
That he was afraid history was going to repeat itself.
What do you mean?
It was because of you, Kirk. He was afraid that you were going to do the same thing you did 10 years ago. Walk in here, win his daughter's heart, only to disappear into the night and break it.
Kirk would never do that now.
It seemed only a matter of time to him before Kirk would run off again, leaving his wife and his responsibilities just as he did.
Oh, wait a minute. Did I ever say or do anything that would make Dr. Galt think like that?
And so he was worried, Miss Emily, that you would be abandoned again, but this time without the comfort and help of a father. That's what was on his mind ever since Kirk came back. That's what he was afraid of, and frankly, that's what I'm afraid will happen too, am I right?
I care about Emily very much, and the thought of abandoning her never entered my mind.
I wish I could be sure.
Why do you doubt him, Molly?
Because he fooled you once, Miss Emily. Mr. Michaels has slightly less than a respectable background.
Well, I don't have any background. Look, I don't know what I did 10 years ago. I don't know what I did during the 10 years, but I'll tell you this. The man that's standing here in front of you right now would never cause Emily any pain.
I believe him, Molly, and you should too.
Believe anything, Miss Emily, and I have got to try to look after you.
Look, I don't have a memory, but I do have feelings.
You care for Miss Emily and no others?
Of course I care for her, and I would never, ever hurt her.
See what a kind man he is? No, can't you see that he means what he's saying?
Emily is my wife, and I accept that obligation.
You owe her no less, young man, and don't you ever forget it.
And don't you have any doubts about it. You know that I'd never leave you.
Yes, I know that.
Your father is dead, but I'm here, your husband. I'm here to look after you, to comfort you.
And I'll always be here for you. You see, Molly, that's what a real marriage is all about.
Wherever I go, you'll go.
I wouldn't have it any other way. I love you so much.
Satisfied now?
Well, I just had to be sure you understand.
Yeah, I understand.
Now that that's settled, I could do with another cup of coffee. Can I get anybody anything?
Yes, Molly, thank you. I'll have some tea.
Yes, of course, Miss Emily. I won't be a minute.
who's home?
Well, I do live here, I think.
Well, with your schedule, it's not often that you get home ahead of me. What was it, a slow news day?
Well, I had an interview over at Clay Ridge with Congressman Watterson. And it turned out to be rather brief. So I thought it would be rather foolish to go all the way back into town. I decided to call it a day and come home.
You had a brief interview with Joe Watterson? That's news in itself.
Yeah, he didn't seem too inclined to discuss the payoff he allegedly took.
No wonder.
So, I hope you're not too hungry. Because even though I was home early, dinner's going to be a little late. Thank you.
Well, I hope that's because when you got home, you decided to take a nap. You've been moving at too fast a pace lately.
No. Honey, tonight I wanted our dinner to be special. So...
Oh, how pretty. But you shouldn't have gone to all that trouble, Nancy. Although I'm sure Kelly and I will appreciate every single bite.
Well, I just wanted it to be nice. I mean, we're having appetizer, soup, salad, entree, dessert, because I want this meal to be one where we can have much conversation through the evening.
Now, that does sound very pleasant.
Okay. Honey, with that young man here, the house has taken on a whole new warmth.
You've really taken to young Mr. McGrath, haven't you? Oh, speak of the devil.
Hello?
Oh, hi,
Kelly.
Hi, Uncle Mike. Kind of got messed up on the bus schedule and missed the express. You weren't waiting on me to start dinner, were you?
No, not at all. Welcome home.
I hope you're hungry, Kelly. Nancy tells me that the dinner this evening is for non-dieters, strictly.
Hey, great. I'm glad I skipped lunch.
Oh, why did you do that?
Oh, I don't know. Guess I just got caught up in my sightseeing and forgot I was hungry.
Did you enjoy your excursion?
Yeah, it's a real nice day. Real clean city. You know, people smile at each other when they're going down the streets. I like that. I like that a lot.
Did you happen to see the Museum of Fine Arts? Or, what else, the Botanical Gardens?
No, I'll catch the culture loop next time out. Actually, I spent most of the afternoon just walking around the downtown area and getting familiar. Sat in the park for a while and soaked up a few rays and got some sun, that is.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Actually, the most exciting thing I saw today was the fact that new disco is going to open up tonight. I bet that Unicorn Club's going to be a real hot spot.
So, tonight's the big opening,
Yeah, I figured you two would know about that. Didn't you tell me that you were familiar with the place, Uncle Mike?
Although I've never been to the Unicorn, Kelly, I do know quite a bit about the place.
I'm not following you here.
Well, it was part of what would have been an inheritance of one of Mike's clients, a young woman who was a very good friend of ours.
We've mentioned April Scott's name to you, I think.
Oh, right. Draper Scott's widow.
Now, the club was intended to be given to her, but through a legal oversight, it wound up in the hands of her mother's ex-husband.
It's too bad. The way discos are, that place could be a real gold mine.
Well, I can't say that I would feel sorry if it wasn't successful, because it just doesn't seem right that Elliot Dorn should profit from April's loss.
Sounds like you don't like the guy, Aunt Nancy.
Let's just say that he's caused a few people we know a great deal of heartache.
I met him this afternoon. Seemed like a real nice guy.
Oh, yes, he's very charming. No two ways about that. It's just that some of his qualities well, they're not too redeemable, is it? I'd rather not get into it right now.
Yeah, I was thinking about going back and seeing Mr. Dorn, but since you disapprove of the man, so I guess I'd just better forget about it.
Well, what was it that you were going to see him about?
Well, when I worked in London, I had a disco job there. And
I thought you dealt only in puppets.
Oh, no, the job I had there had nothing to do with puppets. Actually, I worked as a waiter, and sometimes he let me work the lights on.
Oh, excuse me. Hello?
Hello, Nancy. It's Geraldine.
Oh, Geraldine, how nice to hear from you.
How are things going for you, my dear?
Well, just fine, thank you. And with you?
Professionally speaking, they couldn't be better, I'm happy to say.
I'm glad to hear that.
However, the personal difficulties that Logan and I are going through right now make it difficult to have much pleasure in much of anything.
Yes, I know. You've been going through quite an ordeal.
Well, I didn't call you to cry on your shoulder. Actually, I called to talk to that young nephew of yours if he's around.
Kelly?
What? Nicole has told me some very nice things about him, and I'd like to see for myself if he lives up to his reputation.
Oh, well, yes. Would you hold on, and I'll get him. Kelly, this call is for you.
For me?
Yeah.
Thought I was a stranger in town.
This lady is a very dear friend of ours, and she's also the general manager of our local television station.
Wonder what she wants with me.
Well, one way to find out.
Okay. Hello, Mrs. Saxon. This is Kelly McGrath.
The Kelly McGrath, star of stage, screen, and the children's ward of Monticello General.
I guess you heard about the show I put on.
I also heard you were such a hit that by popular demand you have been invited back for a return engagement.
Yeah, the kids really seemed to like it, and I really enjoyed entertaining them.
Well, Nicole Cavanaugh has told me that you are a very talented young performer, and I'd like to catch your act sometime, Mr. McGrath.
Well, Mrs. Saxon, I'm sorry. I don't know exactly when I'll be performing next.
Wouldn't you consider performing for an audience of one?
You mean an audition?
Well, after all, WMON is just a small local station. It would be quite a feather in our cap if we could develop and find a young, talented performer before the networks scoop him up.
Hey, I don't know what to say.
Well, I hope you'll say yes, so we can get around to the business of arranging a time for an audition.
Yes, sure, any time's fine with me.
Well, what would you say to this evening? Is that convenient?
Fine, I'll be there as soon as I can. I mean, we'll be there as soon as I can.
I'll look forward to it then, Kelly. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Come in.
Hello, Geraldine.
Logan, what a nice surprise.
I'm not interrupting anything, then?
No, dear. Come in and sit down. What are you doing here?
Misery loves company, I guess. Though I'll tell you right now, a sold-out crowd at the stadium wouldn't be too much comfort to me.
What's happened? Or should I say, what has Raven done now?
She won another round.
What do you mean by that?
Before I could get my hands on that letter she wrote, she made a last-minute appeal to April, and April called me, suggested I come over to her place. The three of us could sit down, talk about it, find a civilized solution to our problem.
And?
While we were in the middle of our get-together, Raven got her hands on the letter. Accidentally dropped it off the terrace.
Oh, good Lord.
Ran down to the street, see if I could find it, but I didn't have any luck. Probably halfway to Chicago by now.
Now, Logan, this may seem like a setback, but it's not the end of the world.
If I had that letter, if I had it, my case would be airtight.
Well, April knows very well what's in that letter. All she would have to do is take the stand in your behalf and explain to the court exactly what's in that letter.
No, I told her I wouldn't do that. I mean, she's got enough problems of her own right now. I'd hate to put that kind of pressure on her.
Of course, that's a decision you'll have to make, but one thing I wouldn't do is give up hope.
Yeah. It's just, I wonder when it's all going to end, you know? I mean, some days I feel like I'm going to be walking around with my stomach in a knot for the rest of my life.
I'm so excited, I don't know if I can eat.
Kelly, you have nothing to worry about. You're going to be fine. Now, please eat.
Never been to a real audition before. I wonder what routine I should do. What do you think, Uncle Mike?
Whichever one you feel the most comfortable one is the one I'd choose.
This could be the beginning of my whole career. You ought to have seen the guys when I told them. They were as nervous as I am.
Kelly, before Nancy and I wish you the best of luck.
Oh, honey, aren't we supposed to say, break a leg?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, I'm curious. You said something before about helping Elliot Dorn at his disco. What did you mean by that?
Oh, well, I thought, people would remember the place if they had something to identify the name with, like a mascot or a logo.
Mm-hmm. Does make sense.
So, well, let me show you. Excuse me. Not too long ago, I made this puppet, and, I think it's real cute. Meet Yubi, the unicorn.
Well, Kimberly, Charlie, Allow me to propose a toast to the unicorn. May it soon become our horn of plenty.
Well, I'll drink to that, Elliot.
To us. Hello. I've talked to you.
Hey, excuse me, I'd better pick up some booze, huh?
Would you care for a drink?
No. What happened?
Oh, I did as you asked.
Did you go to April's apartment?
Yes, I parked the car outside.
Did you see the ladder come down?
Oh, I dared not blink as I followed its path.
Did you see where it landed?
You know, the way the wind was blowing for a minute, I thought it was going to land in the river.
Thinking it landed in the river isn't good enough. I have to know.
Oh, but fortunately, Raven's Declaration of Independence from Motherhood landed just a few blocks from the apartment. Oh, would this be what you're looking for? What is the rush? I'm curious to see how eloquently you abdicated your responsibility to your son. To whom it may concern, I, Raven Swift, mother of Jemison Swift, do hereby give Mr. and Mrs. Draper Scott full and complete permission to raise my son as their own with complete right. Ooh, this is hard stuff.